So, how do we make all these selections? You know, it's not easy, but it has to be done. So what you have to realize is that you need to understand your capabilities. Can I do this myself? Can I do this with my loved one, my wife or my husband? I should say husband or wife, because obviously women are the ones who pretty much love how things look more so than the men, which I get it. I'm married. So you gotta, if you can't do it yourself, talk to a family friend, talk to someone that's involved and maybe in the business of putting some things together. Obviously through a website potentially, but you can look at working with certain designers. I've worked with several designers, and they help. And the nice thing is, designers don't have to do everything. Meaning, you don't have to sign a contract that says, I have to have complete involvement with both the outside and the inside of the home, and here's how much it's going to cost. Several designers out there will actually charge you by the hour. And they'll say they'll want a minimum of maybe 10 hours or 20 hours. Very reasonable rates, $100 an hour. But imagine the success, again, proper planning prevents poor performance, you'll have of putting all this together with a peace of mind knowing, man, I didn't mess that up. I didn't screw that one up. It's well worth it. Because just think of yourself, boy, to tear off those shutters, or to redo that door color or different siding color, it's a lot more than, let's just say you got a 20-hour contract with a designer at $2,000. It's well worth it, because you're going to spend a lot more than that replacing that stuff. Oh, by the way, you're going to piss off the builder because he wants to try to do it right the first time, right? So, I'm kidding. I've made plenty of changes, done plenty of things. The point is, you're not in this yourself, so you got to think about all the different things, and it's my job is to help you through it, to make you feel comfortable, to make you understand that there's other avenues, and just picking it all at once on your own. You're not on an island. We're all here to work together. So we have those selections made. We're moving forward. We're digging the hole. Shit, we find a car in the ground. What's that? A car in the ground? Yeah, been there, done that. Found a car in the ground. Found a gas wall. I know a guy that found a dead body. Found lots of stuff. What do? We stop, we figure it out, and we move forward. I can honestly tell you, in my 27 years doing this, I've not moved forward on producing a home other than one time. As crazy as it may seem, we found a gas wall, and we ended up putting a park on it. So, the point is, I could probably tell you, I didn't even talk about this yet, but I've probably built or involved in building, whether through the warranty process, which is just as important, if not more important, than the build process. We'll get into that. But between the warranty and the building process and the pre-planning process, at least 2,500 homes in the last 27 years. So we work through it. It's about a partnership. The reason why you will hire me or have hired me is the fact that you trust me. And trust, it's a two-way street, right? Just like marriage. You got to trust each other. You got to work together. Nothing's perfect. I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. For those of us who believe in God, He's perfect. But ultimately, we need to work through it together, because that's what matters. It's your single most largest important investment you'll ever make. I get it. I'm here to help you through that, because when you freak out, or you freak out on your spouse, been there, been involved in middle of clashes between husband and wife or partners, life partners, It's okay. We will take a deep breath, sit down and figure this out. And that's what that feels like when you find that car in the hole. I just say car in the hole. We'll figure it out. Obviously, it's a matter of time and money to figure it out. But what's the best solution? What's the most proper solution when we do that? Well, we get the engineer involved. We get different people involved. We get the soil analysis person involved. Worked with a couple companies I've been working with for at least 20 years. They have the best and fairest price because they want to solve the problem as well, so you move forward. So we move forward, we figure that problem out, and by the way, this hardly happens. That's why I say once in a while, once in a great while. But you have to be aware of it. I'd be a fool not to mention that. We put the foundation in the ground, and we move forward, get the plumbing in. Sometimes we get the plumbing in ahead of time, what have you. And we then drop lumber. Lumber's dropped, steel's dropped. We put the steel beams in. Time, a big TO, right? Time out. Because I can tell you right now, your best and proper planning you can do, if there's one thing you remember from this video, is that you have all your selections done at this time. By the time we frame start, it's a great goal. I know, you're crazy, Tony. I can't have my paint colors picked out at this point in time. I can't possibly have my cabinet color picked out, and whether I'm going to do wormholes or shaker or what have you. Here's why. Because the process isn't stopping. It's not going to move. It's not going to continue to delay itself. It's just going to keep moving forward. And so if we have those selections done, and by the way, in case I didn't mention, COVID has delayed things almost double the time it takes to get product and material. It's important to have those selections done. Maybe you don't watch that sitcom one more night this week, or maybe you don't go on that jog just yet. Take the time to accomplish. Again, home building's like it's eating an elephant one bite at a time. But if you take your time and check off the different items that you need to complete, you'll get it done. You'll be able to get it done by framing. It takes approximately 6 to 8 weeks to get the foundation complete from once we dig to once we frame start. That's plenty of time each and every day to make a couple of decisions and make sure how they interact with each other, because again, proper planning prevents poor performance. We already know what the who, what, when, why, and who, what, when, where, why, and how are, because what is it? It's a cabinet. It's a countertop. How do they interact? Well, we all know that the countertop sits on top of the cabinet, and then the flooring sits below that, and then they all have to kind of go together, right? So we understand what things look like. And I know TV makes it that easy, and it's not. It's not that easy. What TV doesn't show you is there's weeks or months of putting that episode together and all those different selection processes. Oh, by the way, they hire 3 or 4 designers and they put everything together, and then one main designer runs the show, yada, 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 whatever. It is what it is. My point is, you're doing this the first time or the third time. You're doing this for your family or for your loved one or whatever. It's your time. And so I'm just trying to help you through your time on your build for your home, because it's your baby, and I get it. So the more I can help direct you in avoiding those certain pitfalls, because TV, you can use TV as an example, but it doesn't happen that fast. And so you need to take the time, need to have the right time up front to get all those selections made, so by the time we get through that 6 to 8 weeks of completing the foundation, everything's ready to go. are you going to get in trouble? No, 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 no. We can't frame start your home because you don't have your selections. Could. Some builders do that. Some builders fine you. Yes, some builders will charge you fees for not having that done. I don't do that. I try to work with you because, again, it's a partnership. You trust me, I trust you. We have to work through it. Let me ask you some questions. How can I, do you know what comes right after the frame completion? Well, no guesses? All right, let me tell you. Plumbing. So think about when you turn your shower on. You turn a handle, right? It's on the wall, and the water's got to come out of either the shower head or if you're going to take a bath. Well, behind all that tile or that fiberglass, there's a thing called a valve. That valve that fits that nice handle that goes on there, it's called the trim, plumbing trim, has to match exactly to that valve. So I need to know what valve I'm putting in the wall. Oh, by the way, you don't want black, you want chrome. You want pewter, you want brushed nickel. No, wait, you want polished brass. Oh, nope, antique brass. How about chrome brass? I don't know what color. There's so many colors out there that you're going to be choosing things that I don't know. I know you know, and that's okay. My job is to put the valve in on time for you. That's why I need these certain selections. Oh, but what if that valve trim color doesn't go with that valve because it doesn't match my light fixture, it doesn't match my cabinet, it doesn't match my countertop, doesn't match my floor, doesn't match my hinge color, doesn't match the handle that goes into that bathroom, and my mirror doesn't match. Do you understand my point? It all goes together. That's why we need these selections at this point in time, because it all goes together. That's why it's important, so important, to have these selections done by frame start. Because the first thing after frame is plumbing. And then we go into heating. And then we go into electrical. Boy, that's a great walkthrough. Give yourself about 3 to 4 hours, because we're going to be spending a lot of time with the electrician. I'll be honest with you. I start every walkthrough on the electrical. I do. I don't finish them. It's a lot of time. Honestly, my electrician is phenomenal. Been using him for 20-some years. And he's awesome. And his guys are awesome. Same guys forever. I go back to these guys before we had kids, or when our kids were real little. They understand the importance of being patient and understanding what it is you may, not only what you need electrical wise, they have the specifications. They're properly prepared for what we decided to include contract wise within the building specifications. But they're also going to interject certain ideas, because not every client's the same. I try to, and I will remind you a week or two, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes a month. Depends on our relationship and how much you need to be reminded or not be reminded, because you have a lot on your plate. So they will introduce certain ideas. They're going to give you some great ideas. And those ideas are going to probably add some costs. So it's the first time I mentioned costs. And I did that on purpose, because the average home, so now I'm going to talk about change orders for a minute, because I was going to lead into this. The average, the mantra, the lingo, the old adage, the I can't think of the right word. The concept of building a new home. Everyone always says, they always say, add 10% in for change orders. See, I don't agree with that. I try to spend, and some other builders call me crazy. I'll be honest with you. Some other builders call me crazy. I spend so much time with clients up front because I really want to get to know you. I really try to get to know my clients. And I really do. And I get to know you because I want to understand how much to build in, because we want to all, our goal is to move forward and build a house. We don't want to have surprises. Again, I don't like surprises any more than you do because it takes too much time and too much energy. And obviously it leads to distrust, and that's not good. It's not good for a relationship. Trust me when I tell you, when I'm done working for the day, I go home to my beautiful, lovely wife and my 5 kids, and I have to spend a lot more energy there. And it's great, my choice, excellent, but I try to do my best so I can give them my time when I get home, so I don't have to undo or redo something during the daytime. So again, it's part of proper planning prevents poor performance, as I've been talking about throughout this video. So I tend to think we can work together and I can try to hold our costs to about 5% and extras. I really do, because I'm spending so much time up front with clients, and take that 5% and build it into the loan. So there's no surprises that have to come out of your pocket other than that 5%. So try to keep 5% on hand as far as extras. Of that, I will tell you, 50, maybe 30% of that's going to be electrical. That's why I waited till now, because the bulk of your changes will be electrical. You don't know. You can't possibly know. I can tell you and describe to you until I'm blue in the face. You can talk to my referral list that I'll share with you on each and every build. I include it with when I'm working with yourself. Through going through the understanding and organization of why choose Tony Kucia, why choose Cleveland Custom Builders. Here's my referrals. You don't need to ask me. I'm going to give them to you. Why? Because that's the right thing to do. Because that's what I would want. It's not so much what you would want, what I would want. The golden rule is do things like treat people like you would want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat people how you understand them, that they would want to be treated, because you're such a good listener that you're going to treat them like the way I'm treated. What if I treat myself like shit and you want to be treated differently? That's a joke. My point is try to understand the other person so well that you're going to help them. You're going to help them fully to what their expectations are. Never going to get there. I can never exceed all your expectations, but I'm going to try like hell to meet or exceed your expectations whenever I can. So there you go. Your biggest change order is probably going to be electrical, and that's fine, but expect that. I'm trying to, again, I go back to expectations. Expect that. So now we get into insulation, doing the right things. By the way, did I mention green community criteria? Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, I build a lot in Cleveland. And Cleveland, many people build in Cleveland because they have tax abatement, a 15-year, 100% tax abatement. Who knows how long it's going to be around? It's a great thing. Certain areas have thrived for it, and many areas have thrived for it. And I built all over the town. I built in Tremont. I built in Huff. Yeah, Huff. Tough and Huff. I built in Buckeye. I've built in Ohio City. I'm getting ready to start a project I built in Midtown. I'm getting ready to start a project in West End. So I try to take that concept of the green community criteria, which helps. It's a facilitation of a third party that facilitates certain recommendations and rules and inclusions that you have to build to within the city limits in order to receive the 15-year 100% tax abatement. I simply have taken that concept and made it who Tony Kucia is, who Cleveland Custom Builders is. So I figure every build to meet that certain criteria out of the gate based on our initial preliminary estimate, unless you direct me otherwise, but I figure that in. Why do I do that? Because your average home, let's just say you live in a 1980s home, or you live in a which doesn't leak as much as a 1950s home, but the average home buyer is moving from a 50s, 60s home, and they leak a lot of air. They waste a lot of water. And so my job is to build better, smarter, less expensive. And so I try to find and partner with those suppliers and tradesmen that are going to do that type of job and produce that type of product for you. So with that being said, isn't it a lot easier to go and buy 15 50-gallon power vented water heaters instead of 5 50-gallon power vented hot water heaters and 10 standard 50-gallon water heaters? Of course it is, because I'm using my volume to buy a better, more efficient tank and putting in your home accordingly. So what I'm getting at is, we know it's a savings. It's more efficient. What many people don't realize is that if you're spending $300 a month on a 2,000 square foot ranch on your utility costs, you could go down to $175, $200 a month on your utility costs between gas and electric. What does that equate to? That $100 savings on utility costs, which is thrown out the window every single month of every single year, could go to what our rates are now. Call it 5. It's 5% high, but just to keep it simple, 5%. That's $50 a month, right? That's $600 a year. How much more can you afford on a new home with that much money? A lot. Oh, by the way, those items pay for themselves. Oh, by the way, now you're in an infill position because you're in an infill lot that Cleveland Custom Builders built for you. And now Cleveland Custom Builders has produced a street of very efficient homes at using less energy. And by the way, you're saving. You're saving because you took the time to work together and figure things out to save that time and money. And put it in your house and not wasting it month after month, year after year.